10 cards out of Battles of Legend, Terminal Revenge. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome. I'm going to start off over here with Life Hack. And I think this card is actually one of the coolest cards in existence in the game. This is a quick play spell card that lets you target one face of monster on the field by jogging. Any damage to your opponent takes this turn, is halved. Also, its monster's attack becomes equal to your opponent's current life points till the end of this turn. An 8,000 attack jogging. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card to target one face of monster on the field. Any damage your opponent takes this turn is halved. Also, that current monster's attack becomes equal to your current life points till the end of this turn. You can only use each effective life hack once per turn. Yeah, this is a strictly stun-oriented defense card that just lets you turn your stun monster into a massive, big pain in the butt. And honestly, I think this card is very, very strong. You're going to want to have the chance to pick these up, and they should be relatively cheap. Next up is Blaze, the supreme ruler of all dragons. So, technically, once we get more dragon rulers, I think this card will take off. But it's 2 level 7 monsters, and once per turn, we detach a material from this card, destroy 2 cards, one from your hand, or field, and one your opponent controls. I mean, hey, popping a dragon roller, it's just going to be, recurable anyway out here, so it's kind of a big thing out here. And then we can banish a total of 2 fire and or dragon monsters from your hand and or graveyard to special summon this card, but it gets to go back to the extra deck when it leaves the field. And you can only use that effect once per turn to revive our dear friend. I honestly think that this card, we had a couple of Dragon Roller builds show up out of the OCG, which was really cool in the very early stages of this. I don't know, I would want to have a copy of this just in case you looked at some of the fun stuff and you're like, okay, I want to mess around with this. And honestly, that definitely works out. It's a Dragon Roller. Next up is the Winged Kuriboh, level 6, aka the famous hero card. You know how many people actually like this? Also, it counts as a favorite card. Can't be normal summon set, must be special summon from your hand or graveyard by banishing an elemental hero fusion monster or a Winged Kuriboh monster from your hand, face up in the field, or graveyard. And then, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, or your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, we contribute this big guy to destroy that monster, and we do inflict damage to our opponent equal to its original attack. This is about the best you're going to get on a hand trap. That's not even a hand trap for heroes, I guess, trying to get something. It's a very nicely designed card. I like it. But once again, I mean, if you're looking at the hero stuff and you're like, oh, this is fantastic, this is everything I wanted, It's a good card. That's about it. You can't expect too much out of hero support at this point in time. They've already pumped like 3,000 cards into them. So I guess we get what we get. Next up is the Sky Striker support. We did not get the full Sky Striker armament in here, which I'm kind of upset with. I fully expected that we would get, everything underneath the sun out here for the Sky Striker department, but they just punted it. We only got Psychonos and Temperance. No Engage 0, no Carmelia. I don't like that, actually. I'm not a super big fan that we just punted those cards out of nowhere, and, we can't even play Sky Striker at full power. I think this kind of opens up the door, though, for our fall set here, actually. Not having some of these key cards that we didn't actually get. We're missing some alt arts in here as well. Do with that knowledge what you will. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, to be honest with you. But yeah, Sky Striker stuff is an absolute pickup. We also have Toy Box in here. So the Toy Box cards technically make the list of broken things, not because of themselves, because we get the Whitewood cards in the next set. And those Whitewood cards give all of this stupid little interactions and things to this deck that you get all these free extenders, all this free advantage off of these toy cards. And honestly, it's kind of broken once you start seeing the raw advantage coming down from just one Toy Box activation and one Whitewoods card just feeding off of all of these extenders. Genuinely, it's kind of scary. I look forward to seeing how people will try to break the toy box cards when we get the Whitewoods cards. I think especially hitting on into WCQ season out here when, you know, we get Infinite Forbidden Legal, might actually be a scary deck. The Genex cards, actually, a lot of these deck cores had some interesting placements in this. So the Genex stuff isn't particularly broken, in my opinion. The controller is a very good card. It basically allows you to do all the extension plays that you would want, but you still get checked by Imperm, and you still get checked out by, you know, Veiler, Mourner, all of this stuff. But if you can set up and play through that, you can make a pretty intimidating board. We don't have Baron anymore, which was one of my favorite end pieces to kind of hold the board together at the end of it. Honestly, at this point in time, I'm only putting the Genex stuff on here because your ceiling is good if you're uninterrupted. If your opponent does have an interruption, you're going to pick your cards on up, and you're going to walk on over there, and you're going to say, yeah, I lose. That's the best I can actually really tell you about that. Next up are your Ice Barrier cards. Now, I still think that the Ice Barrier stuff checks out in this set as the third best of the deck build archetypes. Strictly because, I don't know, the deck, from everything I've seen, and I've watched at least 30 games of this deck be played, none of its end boards feel particularly intimidating. Yeah, you can watch your big monster continuously rotate on through, you know, keep spamming out the big dragons for sure, but that's about it, honestly. There's nothing too crazy that you can really do with the constant advantage that the Ice Barrier stuff kind of gets you. It's a bunch of random lingering floodgate conditions that you can put on your opponent that I don't really feel like add much to the progression of what you're trying to do for the deck. Now, that's just my 2 cents. Next up is Infernoid. You know, if Grass comes back, Noid just takes off. Like, this deck becomes one of the stupidest decks that you could ever actually want to see in the metagame. And you already know that people would be like, oh, 60 card Noids are back. But unless, you know, Grass comes back, this deck's, you know, synergy is going to be locked behind, you know, 40 cards, you know, to like 45 out here. You're going to have to play the full Snake Eyes combo just to try to get this deck set up and try to do whatever kind of end board you're trying to make. Your end board's not going to be good. That's, I guess, my major concern about this. Noids, as long as you can loop Anaku, or excuse me, you can loop, you know, the Dankatrons to get a good amount of mills going, then I think you can get places. But, you know, also him not being a once per turn is actually an incredibly scary thing. Good stuff. Next up is the best deck out of the set, which I think is Ritual Beast. Ritual Beast gets the chance to obviously loop through the Kanahawks, get to all these new boards, and they got, I think, one of the coolest Link 4s that they actually can cheat out. I believe Bonds gives them the ability to cheat this thing out a lot easier, which actually is kind of cool. Ritual Beast definitely is going to be the best of the 4 builds. I do think the Ritual Beast has a pretty interesting ceiling in the current meta. I think it'll be a strong rogue contender for sure. We're just not going to have many events, if any events at all, to really get the chance to watch this do its thing. Maybe some of the South America with Mexico, and yeah, it'd be Central America and South America, might actually make a splash with these, depending, but I think that's going to be a little bit far and in between to kind of hope for that to change the meta. And then we have the Phantom of Yubel, the best card in this set, landing as a secret rare in this set. Good stuff, actually. So you wanted to be able to splash 5 cards in your deck. You wanted to watch the Yubel Fiend Toolbox become an incredibly, you know, good deck. And you also wanted to watch Yubel become a real meta contender out here. Well, much as the rumblings on the outside, that's the birth of a new era Yubel monster actually being a pain in everybody's butt. Enjoy not being able to Ash, Imperm, Veiler, do any of that. Well, you can Imperm, but any of the other monster hand traps. So it's definitely on the pickup list. What do you guys think? please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.